Collipark Bubba Sparxxx, a Timbaland-produced social experiment. Bubba Sparxxx? So you mean to tell me that ain't some type of beer brand? Deriving from the mean streets of LaGrange, Georgia, Warren Mathis, famously known as Bubba Sparxxx, had the clubs going up with his rump-shaking A.T.L hit Miss New Booty. Following the Timbaland-produced track and Sparxxx's debut, Ugly, Miss New Booty with its attention-grabbing intro, Collipark Bubba Sparxxx, followed Bubba for years to come, before he disappeared out of the spotlight almost as quickly as he'd entered, only to be faced with addiction on top of addiction, stints in rehab, and a not-so-graceful fall from the rap ladder. What could have been one of Timbo's best projects turned into a failed social experiment, leaving both Bubba and Timb disappointed. So, whatever happened to this country-fried Eminem? With the help of Virgin Records and Mr. Collipark, Miss New Booty quickly climbed to the top Billboard's Hot 100 charts, putting what was supposed to have been Eminem's understudy from LaGrange, Georgia, on the up-and-coming Rising Stars list, walking the carpets with the likes of Ludacris and the Ying Yang Twins. This song's success made Bubba break away from Virgin and start his own label, but by 2008, he was nowhere to be found. What y'all didn't know was that during his heyday, what he now deems the Miss New Booty era, was that he was battling serious addictions. He was able to climb the mountain of dreams, even reaching the top professionally, but slipped on a dopamine snow, hitting rock bottom personally, leaving him dry, drained, and empty. In the music business, hit the scene too late, you're dismissed as a wannabe. Too early, and your audience may not peep your vision. Bubba faced the unfortunate dealings of both, becoming the first descendant from the Caucasus Mountain to emerge after Eminem's monumental success. Many waved him off as a mere imitation. However, there was more to Bubba than met the eye. Hooking up with producer Timbaland was exactly what he needed to boost his career to new heights. Together, they aimed to blend modern country and rap, birthing an entirely new genre. By the time they perfected this fusion with Bubba's second album, Deliverance, the public's attention has shifted to crunk, leaving little room for his innovative sound. Bubba then shifted gears and found unexpected success with the catchy hit Miss New Booty, featuring the Ying Yang Twins, an anthem celebrating all things lower body fat. His subsequent career as a snap music superstar, like many others who came before and after him, would unfortunately be derailed by addiction, plunging him into a lengthy period of unproductivity. Along with his moniker sounding like a stripper name given to an inmate in prison, despite finding Miss New Booty and going ghost as soon as she brought it back to him, Sparxxx brought country rap to mainstream relevancy. It used to be a term used for certain tunes by artists like UGK, Outkast, and Goody Mob, but now it's all about the cool subset of country artists with a rap twist appealing to the traditional country music-loving crowd. The Lax, Lenny Cooper, and Colt Ford. You may not have heard of these yee-haw names, but trust me, they've become super popular among Southern folks who grew up cruising in trucks with lift kits. LaGrange, Georgia, like many other small towns in the South, started from humble beginnings as a mill village. Growing up on McCosh Mill Road, a road that led to West Point Lake where the old mill stood, Bubba witnessed the vibrancy of the place. The lake is notorious for being the wildest party spot around. People cruise the area, hosting lively gatherings and lighting bonfires. A diverse community, both in terms of race and musical taste, filled with Black people who enjoy country music and beer-toting rednecks driving jacked-up trucks, blasting the poetic justice raps of Tupac and the quirky South sounds of Outkast. Coming from a farming background, Bubba developed a passion for hip-hop at a young age, finding inspiration in the likes of 2 Live Crew, Beastie Boys, and Too Short. By the age of 14, he began crafting rhymes, skillfully piecing together words like a puzzle. Despite his talent and ambition for rap stardom, Bubba kept his aspirations hidden, rarely performing in front of others for many years because dreaming, an action verb done by many yet executed by very few, wasn't something that was encouraged in LaGrange. Upon graduating high school, Bubba relocated to Athens, Georgia after his best friend received a football scholarship, inspiring Bubba to wholeheartedly pursue his dreams. This occurred during the mid to late 90s, when the notion of a white rapper was still considered unique. Bubba found himself striving in a world where Eminem had not yet risen to become the dominant force in the rap verse. And the other Colgate rappers were either operating in the underground scene or blending rap with rock. Fortunately for Big Bubba, everything fell into place in '99 when he dropped his first album, Dark Days, Bright Nights, independently. It took off almost instantly, cultivating much buzz, capturing Interscope Records' attention. Even though those sessions didn't turn out a hit, Jimmy Iovine from Interscope introduced Bubba to Timbaland, who wasted no time signing him to his B Club label. Fast forward to the summer of 2001, and the world got its first taste of Bubba Sparxxx with his debut single, Ugly. The music video, looking like an episode of Dukes of Hazzard, directed by David Lynch, featured Bubba spitting in a mud pit while guys wrestled pigs in the background, a beauty pageant for middle-aged ladies, a skinny dude shaving his armpits covered in shaving cream, a man rubbing live rats on his chest, and a little girl munching on chewing tobacco. Bubba had the right look, the unique sound, and most importantly, the backing of a big-time label. He was in the fast lane to become the next big thing, but that meant his life was no longer his own. In the summer and fall of 2001, Interscope spent millions to make sure everyone knew his name and face. Despite the buzz around Ugly and the initial support from his label, the re-release of Dark Days, Bright Nights didn't quite hit the mark. Bubba's versatility posed a challenge since he couldn't be pinned to just one genre. While Ugly was a banger, the standout tracks on Dark Days showcased his unique mix of country-infused battle raps. His lyrics jumped from wild tales of drugs, relations, and heartfelt chats about family and the tough issues that plague poor communities. This right here would have been his mission statement from his second album, Deliverance. He teamed up with Timb, creating an innovative sound that hadn't yet been explored. They took Comin' Round and added a sample from Yonder Mountain String Band, mixing it with Timbaland's playful synths, and She Tried would have been a straight-up folk song if it weren't for Bubba's dynamic raps. Even though Deliverance only sold 400,000 copies, Bubba till this day considers it a classic. Success aside, this album still faced quite the challenge. A gap between how the public viewed his music and what it was really all about had Bubba's career stuck between a rock and a hard place, or between a tractor and a fence. Some just saw him as a quirky oddball or a hip-hop pioneer. Following his departure from the label that gave him his big break, Bubba turned to his Dungeon family connections and ended up being the very first artist signed to Big Boy's Purple Ribbon label. This is where he teamed up with Mr. Collipark, the genius behind some of the Yin Yang Twins' biggest hits, birthing one of the most bumptiously addictive booty-shaking anthems of the mid-2000s, Miss New Booty. Even though Miss New Booty was a hit, the album it derived from, The Charm, was a hard pass. At least that's what the numbers and sales were saying. He wasn't on top of the rap ladder any longer, and unbeknownst to us and his relatives, Bubba's life began to spiral. Previously, he was always up for a good time, but unfortunately, he get caught up in taking prescription pain meds. It was all fun and games in the beginning, but while out exploring the snow in Canada, he got involved in a terrible snowmobile accident that messed up his shoulder. His doctor prescribed him with pain meds, which led him down a downward spiral. Building up his courage, he bravely checked himself into rehab, even though that meant giving up some big money touring gigs. Following his first rehabilitation attempt, Bubba decided to move from Atlanta to Tampa, Florida, seeking a fresh start and hoping to stay clear from the party scene. But not so fast. Tampa had more strip clubs than Atlanta did. And just like that, it didn't take long for him to slide back into old habits. He was stuck in a cycle of drug usage that left him feeling empty and unproductive. The highs and lows, literally, of his drug addiction would lead up to his 2009 relapse while undergoing rehab, further leading to his arrest at Hooters for the possession of Transine, used to treat anxiety, alcohol withdrawal, and seizures. Unlike his music that was now going triple cotton by this point, his arrest received significant amounts of media attention. Although the charges were eventually dropped, the repercussions were already felt. In August of that same year, Bubba made a life-changing decision to commit to a clean and sober lifestyle. He implemented significant changes, including relocating to a farm in Georgia, and took a break from his music career, not having written a single rap in over a year. During his absence from the music scene, the internet revolutionized the industry, shaking up the traditional reliance on radio and television. Consequently, album sales, which were never Bubba's forte, plummeted. Simultaneously, the worlds of country and rap, despite their differences, reached an uneasy truce, leading to the emergence of a unique group of country rap artists, blending influences from UGK and 2 Live Crew with those of George Jones and Big and Rich. Interestingly, this fusion felt like a natural progression from what Bubba and Timb initiated with Deliverance. After nearly a year and a half of musical hiatus, fate intervened when Bubba met a neighbor who owned a recording studio. The encounter reignited his passion for rapping. Bubba's journey of rebuilding culminated with the release of Pain Management in 2013 under the label Average Joe's, owned by his longtime acquaintance Colt Ford. The record embraced the emerging genre of country rap, seamlessly transitioning from his earlier work in Deliverance to the present. By 2020, Sparxxx had released 3 studio albums under the label, as well as a number of mixtapes to satisfy his loyal fan base. With tracks covering topics such as religion, fake friends, and depression, among others, he showed that he was more than just a Miss New Booty rapper. Since early 2022, Sparxxx has kept his sober streak and continues to drop music to this day, gaining control of his dirty Southern country rap image, utilizing it to the best of his abilities. His releases throughout the years have gained mass success despite a label's backing, 2013's Country Folks amassing millions of views on YouTube's platform, as well as other streaming services. Chloe Bailey's 2022 single, Treat Me, samples Sparxxx's New Booty record, keeping a club banger's legacy alive. His Booty Rockin' Everywhere jingle may have put him on the map for some of you, but don't let the antics fool you. He may be no Marshall Mathers, but Warren Mathis can actually rap. If he had known that song would have been his final opportunity to address the masses through a major label, he would have chosen a different message than, I found you, Miss New Booty. Were you, or are you, a fan of Bubba Sparxxx? Let us know your thoughts and opinions down below in the comments, and stay tuned for more true celebrity stories.